Welcome to Industry Gossip. My name is Manish Kata, and with me, as always, the gossip bitch himself, Christopher Norton.
Well, in what my undergraduate studies would call the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, Kim Kardashian is in financial news after agreeing to pay $1.26 million to settle an SEC investigation into her role in shilling crypto. Underrated or overrated?
I think this news is a little underrated, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I love the Kardashians. Khloe's my favorite, so there's no hate towards them whatsoever. But I think this is a lesson for all these celebrities out there and people in general. Just because you grab your TikTok and Instagram Reels doesn't mean you can say whatever the hell you want. There are securities laws at play, and we have rules and regulations. And so if you're out there pumping something like crypto and you don't know what's behind it, you're liable for this kind of stuff. So I'm glad that the SEC is coming down on these people. I think there's going to be a lot more to come. A lot more celebrities were paid for these endorsements and probably don't have any clue what they're actually selling. So I feel bad for them in that position. Most of them don't have a clue. But I think this is underrated news, and I think a lot of people should be scared about what's coming around the corner.
She should have just followed her sister and sold makeup and vending machines in airports. So RIAs are drowning cash managers with, quote, silly inflows as they line up for insured 3% yields, the best port in the Federal Reserve's interest rate storm. Underrated or overrated?
I think this is overrated. Timing is everything here. I think people are scared of what's going on in the market and starting to see cash returns increase. What I don't understand is why people are now, especially advisors now, directing these folks to open accounts at separate institutions. The money markets that are at your current custodians, Fidelity, Schwab, TD, in many cases, have similar returns. And so what is the point of now opening a separate account and making your clients' lives even harder, especially if and when this market turns and you want to put some cash to work? It just makes the process a lot more complicated to have all these separate accounts. So, we've heard this kind of story before about some of these companies that can maximize your interest and whatnot. I think it's all vastly overrated, and frankly, advisors need to just keep it simple and work with the options that are given with your custodian, which, caveat, in many cases, you are identical, and they're sweep cash as well, so you don't have to necessarily sell them to buy securities. So I think this is overrated.
All right, Charles Goldman has taken a seat on Orion's board, which has sparked thoughts of an RIA custody comeback in Omaha, and maybe what to do with Redtail, Brinker, and Town Square acquisitions, which we've all covered on this show. So, underrated or overrated?
I think this is underrated, and I'm going to read between the lines, because here's one thing with fintech that we should all be aware of. No matter what tool you create, ultimately it ends at the custodian. So you can create anything you want on the front end. You have to eventually open the account. And so a lot of times technology kind of goes to die when it goes to the doorstep of the custodian, which is why something like what Altruist is building has a lot of pros and cons to it, but I think it's something in the right direction where it's a custodial solution built on top of kind of this underpinning of Apex. I think Orion might be heading in that same direction. I think they realize that if they can take technology and build it on top of something like an Apex, they can control everything from CRM to OCIO to the technology itself and then to the account opening. And then they don't have to follow kind of these rules that some of the custodians have in place when it comes to new accounts and all that other stuff. So I think this is something that is going to have a lot of traction over the coming years. And if gunned ahead, I think that they may be planning something like an Altruist, a custodial solution on top of something. My 2 cents.
Never underestimate Omaha. So fraction.work has officially confirmed that we've run out of domain names, but also developed a platform to solve the U.S. developer shortage. Underrated or overrated?
This is underrated, and just to prove that we are a real news organization delivering hard-hitting features, I actually talked to fraction.work not too long ago. because we are in the need of a CTO type position, and there is a developer shortage everywhere. And a firm like ours and other RIAs that have any internal tech, it becomes unmanageable at some point where you have all these different solutions. So I think what they're offering is the ability to hire a fractional CTO, a fractional developer who comes inside of your company, knows the ins and out, and can start at least guiding you in the right direction when it comes to your tech stack. So I think for most advisors who are just relying on third parties, probably a nothing burger. But if you are a larger firm that needs this type of help, I think it's phenomenal to kind of add this fractional CTO concept to your current stack. So I think it's underrated, and I think you're going to hear more and more of this type of firm out there.
Yeah, I understand. I just got word from our producer that I am supposed to say industry gossip is not in fact a real news show and should not be relied upon as such. All right, last one for this show. Bolstered by a rather fruitful deal with Black Diamond, DPL has grown their investor base 8 times, raised another $20 million, and has decided to hold off their larger round of raising until 2023. Underrated or overrated?
This is underrated, and for people who do not know what DPL is, it's a fee-based annuity platform. So essentially, they are going out there and sourcing all the best fee-based annuities under their platform, so you can easily see the different details of each one. And the reason I think this is underrated is as the market continues to maybe go sideways or down, whatever it is, the need for guarantees becomes greater. And you can poo-poo annuities all you want. There's a value. There's always a value in certain situations. And I think for fee-based advisors who are no longer able to sell commission annuities, this is going to become more and more valuable. And so kudos to them. It's a firm that we have had initial conversations with. I know we're trying to push that forward because I think it's important for not only our advisors, but all fee-based advisors to have access to these type of annuities, because in certain situations, it's absolutely a great product fit for some clients. So I think this is underrated, and I think you're going to hear more and more about this company and other fee-based annuity platforms.
I agree. That will do it for Industry Gossip. Martina, you owe me $5 for getting Manish to say poo-poo in a podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see you back next month.
Thank you.